Dr. Dawson, have you been to the Swanton sector of the northern border?
Yes, quite often.
Where have you been?
I was a resident of Ottawa, Ontario, so I was up and down the upstate New York and New England area very frequently, especially along the lakes.
Have you spoken with Border Patrol officers in upstate New York or the North Country?
I have not spoken to Border Patrol officers recently from that area, no.
Well, I will tell you, I speak to Border Patrol officers all the time in my district. I represent 700,000 hardworking Americans that live in my district, and it is an abject disaster what is happening at our southern border and the impact it's having on our northern border. Dr. Dawson, are you aware that encounters at the northern border have surged up to 846% in the Swanton sector that you are so familiar with?
I think during my testimony earlier, I indicated that...
Are you aware of 846%?
That is not a number that
So you disagree with that number put out by the U.S. government?
I don't have the information to agree or disagree.
Okay, well, that is the number. Mr. Judd, because you are familiar with Northern Border Patrol officers, because I know you speak to them regularly, as I do in my district, I want to get your input. Do we have operational control over the northern border?
No, we don't. In fact, what happens is we conflate the issue. We conflate the ports of entry, and between the ports of entry, we have to subtract out the two. In fact, that's the reason why we have two different agencies that work. You have the port of entry, which is the Office of Field Operations, and then you have between the ports of entry, which is the Border Patrol. We have to take those two issues apart from each other and look at them individually.
And Mr. Judd, walk me through. I'm very familiar hearing from my constituents about the crisis on the southern border, how that has impacted the morale of Border Patrol officers up north who have been transferred over and over again to the southern border with no notice deployments. Number one, the morale impact, and number two, the fact that we do not have the personnel we need operationally along the northern border, specifically the Swanton sector.
A little over 25 years, I've never seen the morale lower in the Border Patrol than what it is today. Make no mistake, we will continue to put on the uniform. We will continue to go out and do the job that we're supposed to do. We just won't be happy about the job that we're doing because we know that we do not have the support of this administration to actually protect the American people.
As the former communications director to Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, this video brings me much joy. She is an absolute warrior when it comes to investigating and sitting on her committees, getting to the bottom of issues, putting people on blast. Don't forget her performance that she put on in the impeachment hoax #1 for President Trump. This was a perfect grilling of this incompetent woman who claims to understand what's going on at the northern border. She keeps pledging we have operational control of it. Well, then why has there been an 846% increase of crossings at the northern border since Joe Biden took office? Let me say that again, 846% increase. You don't hear that in the nightly news. You also don't hear about the invasion that is happening on the southern border and the fact that northern border agents were forced to redeploy down to the southern border in order to clean up that mess. So now we are at war on both borders of our country, north and south, Canada and Mexico. Not just from Mexicans and Canadians, but from people around this entire world. Russians, Iranians, Saudis, people from countries that don't like us very much. Scary times.